I went back and got all the data from Patterson to try and figure out exactly where were we this summer. Because Darryl will tell you last summer before, we were in the wells 24 hours sometimes, and I mean, we were in big trouble, 2 summers ago with the well problems we had and that. Now, so here's the deal. We now have the ground storage tank online. So we went from 80 to 130,000 gallons of ground storage. That steel tank, this is the first summer it's been fully operational. And the wells, we lowered all the wells are now running normally. So if you think about that ground storage tank, before this, if we had 10 items on the shelf, if we had 10 items on the shelf, and when we got down to 3, we ordered 10 more, that's fine. But now, if you have 20 items, when it get down to 3, you order 20 more, then if the demand is the same, you got a lot less orders. So with us, demand stayed the same. We sold about the same number of gallons, but because we had all this extra storage, we didn't have to run the wells as often. So the wells only ran about 12 hours a day. We literally used 42% of our capacity last summer. The peak month was July, and in July, with the wells running, we hit 51%. The wells ran an average of 12.1 hours a day. Last year it was over 20 hours a day, the year before. So we have about 42% of meeting the demand with the wells. Now remember, we have 130,000 gallons of storage sitting there. So what we can actually put out in a day is the wells running 24 hours plus 130,000 gallons just sitting in the tanks. So if you include the whole thing, we were 28% for the whole summer. So the water system is in great shape. And that's some of what Wayne was talking about in the audit as to why our operating costs were lower. Well, look, the wells are running half as long. They were turning on half as often, that kind of thing. And that goes right to our bottom line. So we have a lot of capacity here. Now so if you look at down in the second table, one of the things that, Clint and Darryl and I said, what we monitor all summer long, and you'll see the text messages are almost every night, is monitoring the gallons per minute. Because we kind of want to see the drawdown as the summer goes on, because we're drawing down the aquifer and everything. So you can see, in June we only had 2 wells running. We didn't run all 3. That's why there's well 1 is our small well, the shallow well. So July, August, September we kicked it on, and you see there's a little bit of downward trend in the water we're getting per minute, but it's not dramatic. It ends up being a couple percent on the well, right? So the big well went from 89 down to 87 by the end of the summer. So that's very promising for us that we're able to, we had a really normal summer. So everybody understand the first 2 charts? So I want you to understand, we do not have a water problem in Lakewood Village. We had one malfunction 2 years ago, which hurt us. At the same time, we were expanding the system. So we didn't get the full benefits of the expansion because we had the well problems. Now we're in steady state. Now we're normal. And this is what normal is now with the expansions we've done. Normal is 40% capacity with our 240 housing and no water restrictions. There's no water restrictions. Now the lower table here talks about our system itself, and this is letting everybody understand when we expanded the system, what we were trying to do. So for instance, the ground storage, the pressure pumps, the pressure tanks, we're up around 700 to 800 houses worth right now. We're ahead of it. We're not waiting on anything. Build out is between 600 to 700 is building out this side of the street. We're already there on everything but the well.
At what capacity do we have to start looking at either engineering, ship bills, things like that?
So for the water system, there is no requirement. You're just obligated to meet your demand. So for instance, we have no water restrictions. So if we were meeting, so we only used 42% of our capacity last summer. If we would have gone on water restrictions like the other cities around us, like you only do 2 days a week, we'd be down, at like, 20%, you know what I mean? So there is no requirement for TCQ other than a global thing. You have to meet your demand. And since you can do water restrictions, you can always change your demand, right? But what this shows you is we need another well. Sometime we need another well. Now the other thing you can do with TCQ is like a lot of stuff, let's say that well was enough for only 200 houses right now, and we have 240. You'd say, wow, we're below the TCQ requirement. You can get a waiver because we have way over the ground storage. So you either have to be able to produce it on the fly, or you got to have a lot of storage. They compensate each other. So they'll give you a waiver if you don't meet it. And we're going to meet all of them. We already do meet all of them. So you guys didn't realize it, but we've been, for the last 5 years, taking all of our money in the water and sewer system, that cash flow, and turning around and chunking it right back in and making the thing bigger, and buying new pumps and replumbing the thing. And so we've been replowing, and we're done. We're done. Okay? But that's our capacity now in the water system. Now the sewer system is a little bit different. On the sewer system, that's based on flow going out. So if you look at the sewer system, for the summer for us, we averaged 43,383 gallons. We averaged 43% utilization of our sewer plant for this summer. That's where we're at. And so we have a measuring device that measures every gallon that flows out the back end of the sewer plant. And you can see each month, they're fairly consistent. 42% in July, 45 in August, 44 in September. It'll vary a little bit more when we have rain. Rain falls in the sewer plant, it's not covered. So like June is a little higher than these because we have much more rain in June. That's why at TCQ they average it over the month. They don't care if you go over on a day, you get a big 6-inch rain, it's going through the plant. This is a gravity-fed plant. The other numbers at the bottom here deal with, so Eric was talking about milestones. These are the milestones. So at 75%, you have to start your engineering work. For us, that's 420, that's 180 more houses before we start. I was at Patterson's offices today. We're going to start this probably in about a month. Because we're going to start the engineering, get a lot of this done, and just stick it on the shelf.
So it's ready to go.
So it's ready to go. So we're going to make everything shovel ready. At 90%, you have to send the stuff to TCQ and start the permitting process. For us, that's 500 connections. We'll probably do it obviously much sooner, and again, get permission to expand the plant and stick it on the shelf.
I know we talked about this before. Isn't the expansion relatively quick too, once you have the plans? Like the actual...
According to Mark Patterson, to go from submitting your permit to TCQ and actually having it completed on the ground is about 9 months. Now, if we double the plant, which what we talk about, easiest expansion is literally to replicate what we have. 2 parallel, side-by-side, same size systems. If we did that, that's enough for 1,120 connections at our current usage. And again, build out in the city is 600 to 700. So it'd be over 1,100 at our current usage, if you will. Okay.
What this number, what do you like to be at when you're all of a sudden done, all the build out and all that? What do you like the capacity to be? You don't want it to be 100%, I assume, right?
No, I mean,
something less than that.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the idea is that, we would, because one of the things I asked Patterson was if we put in if we expanded the plant tomorrow, so now we have 2 trains sitting there, but you only have 40,000 gallons, but you have capacity for 200, would you keep the 40 in one and just leave the other one empty? He said, no, it's much easier to treat it if you have 20 and 20. The less flow, the more efficient the plant is. So you'd want to keep it as low as possible.
Right.
And with us, the idea here is that we could expand it even further at some point, but 200, if we double what we had, we're in real good shape. The school, assuming the school gets built, they're not showering, you know, they're pooping. You know, it's an elementary school, I don't know how much they're pooping, but, you know, I don't think that's gonna be a design problem, right? Down the road. Okay, so everybody understand this? So, to summarize it all up, capacity-wise, we're in terrific shape because we've been plowing the money back in. Okay. So, you know, from this thing right here, we could take in 260 more houses. We can double what we have. We don't have to do a damn thing. The sewer plant, nothing changes. Not one item down there changes if we double the size of the town tomorrow. Okay? All right? Any questions?
That's great.
Okay. All right. Any questions? No. Any questions? Ed, you got any questions? Good?
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to go into executive session. We're going to go into executive session 5510712, government counsel, you can tell attorney on a matter which is the attorney of the government body. Under the Texas State rules of personal conduct, state bar code, this chapter, receive legal advice, 5510711, Texas government code. Counsel, the town attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, 5510772, Texas government code, deliberation about real property. 087, government economic development negotiations, and 51076, Texas government code of deliberations about security device. We are going into executive session. It will be not short. Linda, thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, by the way, I should have said thank you and the MDD for the picnic. I thought everybody
Thank you.
had a great time.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Let me know if you need anything else.
Thank you.
Guys.
I did talk to Kurt. We're still working on that. So we'll talk
I'm
next
gonna
week.
officially show them
Oh,
the
okay,
purpose tonight.
okay.
Get the chainsaw fixed.
Everybody knows.